Oh hey, you're already in here. That's fun. Here I was trying to grab a link. So I mean, you obviously can play it in first-person mode, and it seems fairly similar. This is going to be weird, being as it's a mage. I was trying to get something that was a little more interesting. Oh. Oh, sweet. Okay, so I'm jumping back in on a character that isn't going to be as awkward to watch as that. I realized I was on a very wrong character to showcase that. So obviously, just like any normal, I'm going to say normal, Elder Scrolls game, um, I'm actually going to turn down this because I know, let's see, give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Quote unquote with you, but don't accept anything. I'm just doing it to mute the, not mute, but to lower the, yeah, there we go. Is that better? So I was actually exploring an area. So one of the first things I'm going to show you, the map is absolutely massive. So the area that I am in presently is this. And just to give you an option, so from here, so this is the entire map, and from there to this little way shrine right here, we're going to go. Wow, it's not even on my radar yet. I'm going to jump on my mount, which actually is a pretty fast mount. And we have a way shrine over there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up there right now. I might have to go around. It's funny. Because of course. Oh well. Let me show you some of the combat. So by default, you've got your standard attacks as well as your blocking if you're running a shield. You probably won't be running a shield unless you're running tank. I'll say that right now. However, as you see down at the bottom, you also have skills, like in most of those. So your basic attacks are a very small portion of your damage. As you can see, I'm not doing a whole lot, so I'm going to start rotating through a... We'll fight something a little bigger. it is indeed very loud. Give me 2 seconds, I'll get that fixed. About as low as it can be on there, so let me do it here. We'll just crank down the master volume a ton. That should help quite a bit. Yeah, this is a very loud, very dynamic sounding game. I figured. So, as I was trying to say, you've got your standard basic attacks, which are such a small part of your overall kit in this game. As you can see across the bottom, I've got those 5 abilities as well as an ultimate. As a character, as you level up... Oh my gosh, it so much is. So each class, there's, I think, 6 total classes, 2 of which are DLC. But there's 3 trees, and as you can see, each tree has 6 separate abilities to pick from, more similar to like a Diablo. And then as you level up your weapon combat trees, you've got skills for your two-handed, skills for your one-handed, skills for dual-wield bow, destruction staff. There's just so many things that you can run in that, and as you can see, you only get those... Oh, it's not showing up because it's okay. Can I get them to show up? Anyways, you have 2 combat bars after level 15, so you have a grand total of 10 skills and 2 separate ultimates that you can use. So the combat is wonderful. Every single NPC in the entire game is voice acted, which is just mind-boggling for an MMO. Obviously, in regular regular Elder Scrolls fashion, you're going to have some voice actors that you hear a lot of, which really just kind of adds to the charm. Let me just show you some of the scale of this. So I'm just going to head over to toward the road. Now, the mount seems a little fast, but that's just because this mount is upgraded the absolute most it possibly can be. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we're still... Alright, actually I'm a little ways past it, so I'm going to get over to the road. And just these areas are wonderful and nice and big, and this is actually one of the smaller areas. But they're nice and varied with some good landmarks. And it's, you know, I've gone about that far so far of what you've seen. But this is just a portion of the overall map. So I'm in this area down here, and I can fast travel to any one of these provinces. Here in the middle we have Cyrodiil, which is actually a PvP specific zone. I really wish there was an area for Cyrodiil that we could like explore without having access to PvP, but just due to some of the lore stuff that's going on, it kind of makes sense why it's a PvP specific zone. So there's that. But there's all these different areas. Let me show you a city. We'll go to Vivek. But yeah, no, I adore Skyrim. I really do. Love it, love it, love it, love all the builds that you can do. Most of the time, the combat bores me to tears. So, okay, yeah, I would love to show you one. They're probably the thing that probably feel the most Elder Scrollsy, if that's a word. In that you kind of go in, there are kind of some puzzles that are fairly simple to work through, but most of the time, each of the individual dungeons. Actually, no, you played Breath of the Wild, so they feel a lot like that in the fact that a lot of them, even though they feel similar, they're relatively different. Let's see. I tank, so my um, dungeon experience is a little different. Uh, Whatever I'll do when it'll instant queue, which is nice. Or not. The one time I actually want it to. Actually, funny enough, if I cancel this, start up again, it might. Nope, still not. Jeez. And most of your time, your tank queues are. Oh, let me start this up. You can see what the quest system is like.
There's an armiger injured on the road outside Seydanin. So much blood. They need help. I'm not exactly sure. The buoyant armiger was accompanying Canon Valasar on a mission for Lord Vivek, but something terrible must have happened. Canon Valasar sent me to find help. She's on the road just outside of Seydanin. Will you help them?
So these are the zone quests. As you can see, they've got a little different symbol above them, and they are going to be basically the lore quests for that specific area. Let's fight this thing real quick. So if I were to go into first person mode, it's just hitting down on the D-pad. It definitely doesn't feel bad, but the extra visuals that you get, and especially for, where is it? Oh, geez, I accidentally just. But so you have some things that are ground targeters, and that's just super awkward to view in first person. But like in third person, that's just wonderful, and you can see exactly where you're throwing it down. Oh, this is a cool interaction. There's some Daedra stuff here. I'm gonna just unqueue from that altogether because that's taken forever.
Forgive me.
Oop.
Forgive me, Outlander, but I have enough to deal with. I'm just a simple tribunal priest, and the trouble at the ancestral tomb was too much for even our buoyant armiger to deal with. I have failed Lord Vivek, and left a colleague alone at the tomb. Lord Vivek sent the three of us to seek guidance at the Andrano ancestral tomb. We were attacked when we got there, and our guard was seriously hurt. I barely got her to safety, but we failed to complete the mission Lord Vivek bestowed upon us. Canon Levu, he remained behind after we retreated from the tomb. I know he wants to get back inside and ask.
But yeah, there's probably, even if you just did the storyline related to the zones in each area, not taking into consideration leveling, not taking into consideration side quests or anything along those lines, that gathering, stuff like that, probably 15 to probably closer to 10 to 15 hours per zone as far as just quests like this. Oh, here we go. Oh, not yet. Oh, here we go.
Someone help!
three. First a wounded armiger, now this.
By dawn and dusk, evil creeps through the shadows of my beloved Vardenfell. But an outlander arrives to aid my people, just as I have foreseen.
Those words, what do they mean? What happened? Merciful Azura, the Mother Cell spoke through...
Yeah, of all the things in this game that are just done well enough, the questing is... it's just great. Like, I won't lie. It feels awesome. All of the voice acting, most of the voice acting doesn't feel phoned in. Oh, jeez. So many quests. Oh, I missed it again. No. So the thing that microtransactions as a whole aren't really a thing. There's some really, really big quality of life stuff. Okay, such as the biggest thing you'll see right off the bat, which is really the only thing that I have a problem with. There are 3 separate... It's not nearly as big as a deal as it used to be. But you have 3 separate starting zones. You've got your Ebonheart Pact, which starts in Deshawn, or Davin's Watch, I should say. You've got your other people who start over here in Auradon, and then you have others that start here in Glenumbra. And your race actually determines which area that you start in. There's 3 races that start here, 3 over here, and 3 over here. Used to be a big issue because you actually had to beat the entire game before you could play with people of other packs. They patched that out. That is no longer a thing. Yes, there are going to be a couple of things that are pretty glaring of saying, wow, they really want me to buy that. ESO Plus for people who want to continue to play the game is something that is so worthwhile that it's not even funny. I'll give you an example of that here in a second. But one of the things that it allows you to do is to not have any crafting materials count toward your total in your inventory. So your inventory is relatively limited as it is, and then if you're not wanting to run ESO Plus, which is the subscription, you're only limited to basically not running crafting materials, or being very specific with what you pick up with crafting materials. Once you're subscribed, it's literally just, oh, let me pick up any of the crafting materials that I see because they're not counting against my total. They've done a really good job of making the purchases that you make very worthwhile. The other thing that ESO Plus does is everything outside of the very newest... actually, no, everything outside of expansions. If you have ESO Plus, you get all of the other DLCs. Now, these DLCs are everything from, let's see, like all those zones that I was showing you, a lot of those are DLC zones. These are all the DLC packages that they've put out over the years, and the only ones that are showing as purchased are the ones that I got with my bundle that I got when I rebought back into ESO a while back. All the other ones, as you can see, I haven't purchased those, but I have access to them just because I'm paying for the subscription cost. So you get the subscription cost, you get a little more experience, not much, it's like 10% more. So for someone who wants to play the game long term, it's absolutely worth it. But they don't make anything like, oh, you have to buy this. 90% of the stuff on the Crown Store are stuff like these, where even the Crown crates, everything that's, RNG, They say, hey, these are the things that you can get in these, and they're all just aesthetics. So I would say the one, possibly two purchases I would say that are really nice to get. The first is the, hey, let me use any race I want in any pact, so that you can make a character to start in any area and not be limited to what kind of character you could start there. Again, that is a lore-related thing, because these different races have kind of like teamed up together, and that's kind of what I was talking about with the PvP thing. So you've got your Davin's Watch, your Stonefalls, and that's this area over here, and then it kind of dips through here, the Rift and East March. Glenumbra comes up through here, and that's their storyline, and then Auridon kind of comes through this area. Those three pacts or treaties, they're basically like the nations of now. Like think Allies versus Axis, but there's three of them, and then they're all competing just constantly, trying to control as much of Cyrodiil as possible. Where that comes into play is if you pick up the Imperial City DLC, you have access to, let me find it. That's Battlegrounds. That's not what I want. I never do PvP. I'm not a big fan of it. Go figure. Campaigns, that's where it is. Gosh dang it, that was terrible. Enter campaign. Sure, why not? Is it not going to show me? I don't think it is. Anyways, but this is like open world PvP in the fact that you have like bases that you're trying to defend from other people, and you can get like siege weapons to try to do those, and then there's the Imperial City itself that is actually a smaller variant of that, with like big groups of people running around doing PvP. So it's interesting, and it's neat for people who like the PvP aspect of the game. I just don't. I would say the biggest complexity of the game is actually the fact of how the skills work, in the fact that there's a lot of animation canceling involved. So like light weaving. So you see that you have attacks like this, but then you can also, so you can light attack, then immediately pop a skill, which means you can then light attack, skill, light attack, skill, light attack, skill. Your heavy attacks, actually, if you'll watch my stamina bar, they refill a portion of either your stamina or your magic, dependent on if you're using a magicka or a stamina weapon. Your only magicka weapons at this point are going to be destruction staffs and restoration staffs. This is a destruction staff. If you'd like, I can queue up for a dungeon. Otherwise, what else would you want to see? I'd be more than happy to show you basically anything, because everything's enjoyable. Like, I'll just straight up say that. Everything in this game is... it's just fun. It's nice to just sit back and do whatever, whether or not it's... oh, that's something I could do. I could go find one of the regular delves, is what they're called. Delves are the single-player dungeons. Dungeons are what they refer to as like 4-man content. What delves do I have done here? Anything? That loot. Actually, oh, dude, that's actually one of my favorite parts. So every single 4-man dungeon, and this is what keeps me coming back to this game, frankly. Every 4-man dungeon and every zone, like what I was telling you about with these. So this is a zone, but every one of those instances has 3 or more sets of unique gear that are gear sets. So if you have 3 pieces, it might have 1 bonus. If you have 5 pieces, it'll have another bonus, etc. Now, some of them are pretty generic, and then others are even better. So, like, I recently picked up, and this was kind of some in-game content, but it's a sword and shield that when used together, here we go, 2-piece. 2-item set reduces the cost of shield charge by 25% and reduces the cost of your next non-shield charge one-handed and shield ability cast within 3 seconds by 100%. This is an outlier. This is a what's called arena weapon, and so they're weapons that specifically are meant to be used in a specific way. So they're some of the most unique bonuses. Whereas Alkosh, which is what this set is, if I go over to that, if I'm running Alkosh, which I have the ring, necklace, belt, and then the staff counts as 2 pieces. So every time I activate what's called a synergy, I put a debuff and a bunch of damage on. So my Necromancer is one of the only classes that can synergize with itself. So that's what you'll see me doing with... Here, let me find an enemy. I've already done that delve. Actually, I think I've already done all of them here. Anyways, let's find a place where I can do a delve. Reaper's March. I don't think I've done much there. I've only done 1. Great. Let's see. No, I mean, there's a reason I put 1,300 hours into this game last year. It's just so chill, it's so relaxed, but at the same time, you can do anything and feel like you're progressing. Like, there's so much content even in the base game. Load times are a little ridiculous sometimes, but when the zones are as big as they are in this game, you kind of understand. Borderlands, right? Here we go. No. So 4-player, the 4-player content is all match made, and it's all relatively easy. They're like 10-15 minute dungeons if you're doing well. You can rush quicker through, or you can run into problems with some of the higher end ones, and it can take you 30 to 45 minutes. It just depends. But yeah, they're all match made. It's not a problem. Said, where can you find the other 2? Yeah, match made. Right, I'm going to see if I can't find a... Actually, I'm going to do something. I'm going to throw a skill on my hotbar. And this is going to make the horse look like it's way too fast. It's just the dungeons. That's what they refer to the dungeons, or the 4-man content as, is it's dungeons. There are also delves, which are 1-man. There are arenas, which are 1-man challenge dungeons. There are trials, which are 12-man dungeons, which are kind of ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of trials in this game. Like, I love raids in other games. There's a delve. I love raids in other games, but the raids in this game, I don't know. The way that people like to play them is a little weird. Alright, here we go. Oh, there's a trunk here? But yeah, I'm also in a handful of clans that love to. You can be in up to 5 clans. I'll show you some of the combat in first-person mode. It is pretty clunky. Did he just jump over my head? That was weird. There's just so much going on the screen. Do I have a quest around here yet? No, I don't. Yeah, I just prefer to play like this. Like, first person is definitely, it's doable. And I could definitely see, like, the appeal if you wanted to play, like, an archer type character. Ooh, I need to throw my other ability on. Power Slam. Oh, and what's really cool, like, you can zoom in or zoom out as much as you want. That's a little awkward just because it's holding down the down arrow and then zooming in and out on the right stick. But it lets you put it exactly where you want it to be, and then it just sticks there. Ult. Okay, these guys. Now, bear in mind, I adore tank classes in this game, so my damage is okay. So basically what your goal is in each of the delves, there's normally a quest involved with each delve. I haven't found the one in this one just yet. It might be that I just have to find an item and deliver it somewhere, or it might be that the quest started elsewhere. But then there's also a boss in each individual delve, and you'll know when you beat the boss because it actually says that the delve was completed. Normally they're in relatively ostentatious areas, so just by looking at the map you can normally have an idea as to where the boss is going to be located. Oh, fun fact. Every class, can be any role. So you could have a necromancer, which is what I am, as a tank. You could have it as a mage, or you could have it as like a healer, or even a like melee weapon dealer. So it's dependent on which like trees that you go down, dependent on what kind of armors that you have. Everything is fairly customizable, and nothing is locked. Oh no. Oh, looks like they just killed the boss. It's a pretty great lockpick system. It gets more annoying than anything just because you have to deal with it so often, but oh. Excellent. I got in time. Girdle of Soulshine. Let's see what this 5-piece set is. Activating an ability with a cast or channel time grants 356 spell damage for 5 seconds. So basically an extra trait so long as you have a channel or cast time in your kit. That's neat. Not necessarily usable. Let's see what else I'm using. I'm using... I know I have the Alkosh on. That's my absolute favorite set. What am I doing? Inventory. Tremor Scale and... oh yeah, Tormentor, of course. So, Tormentor is one of the neatest sets in that it really changes the flavor of it. So, normally there's only about 2 or 3 moves that taunt, so that draw aggro. It's a really strange aggro system, I'll say that right now. They had to actually patch it into the game because it didn't exist when the game came out. But this 5-piece set, as you say, it says 2 items, 3 items, 4 items, 5 items here on this right side. But it says whenever you deal direct damage with a charge, leap, teleport, or pull, gain physical and spell resistance, so basically gain defense, and then taunt the enemy. So you're basically, by wearing that 5-piece set, this is now also a taunt, not just a charge. So it can free up slots on your bar by doubling up. now that that is completed, I don't think there's a quest in this one, unless... Alright, I'm going to go north. Just double check this room up here. And then you can actually zoom it out way out to here. A little more useful in group content because you can see, alright, so-and-so is attacking my healer, I need to jump over there. Alright, now that that's done, let's see if this queues up any faster this time. There it is. Hey, here we go. How funny, it gave me the very, very first dungeon in the game, so this will be nice and easy. Oh, so you've got your standard walk, you've got your block, and then you've also got your dodge roll. I don't use it a whole lot as a tank, because it uses a lot of stamina for me. So as the tank, I'm the one that's basically running in, grabbing as much aggro as I possibly can, trying to keep dudes off of my dudes. And then able to put out just a little bit of damage, but not nearly as much as some of these other guys. Hey girlie, what's wrong? Did you have a bad dream? Why are you awake? Alright, so here we have a boss. I'm going to pop an ult that lets me basically block for free while I aggro him. Would you like to sit with Daddy for a little bit? What? Then come here. It's okay. I don't mind. Here. 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 Or not. Girlie, come here. You what?
I'm cold, Daddy.
You're cold?
Yeah.
Well, then go get your blanket.
No, because you're holding me.
I know, go get your blanket. I can hold you some more. Ooh, that was a nice stun. So then the bosses themselves are what drop their set loot. So I had the light armor. There's light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor, obviously. But the light armor set on this one just says, hey, if you use destruction staff stuff, you just get more power. Come on. Come on. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You've definitely got green, blue, purple, and then obviously yellow. Yellow never drops. You actually have, well, it can in the trials and whatnot, but primarily you have to upgrade the stuff. Yes. Let's see, are we doing it the regular way? Yeah, we are. Okay. What? So I will say, it's not necessarily color-coded, but rather it's your standard, like, your standard gear quality system. Just so we're on the same top page. Geez, I'm just getting all the light sets. And it's not necessarily something that I have to pick up at this point, just because most of the sets that I would have been after in these easier dungeons, I have something in my bank. Oop. Oh yeah, absolutely. If I wanted to, I could respec from, and it honestly only costs gold. Like, it's not something that is a, yeah, what's up, girly? It's not something that is a microtransaction. I'm finishing up now, girly.
We found the shrine.
And respecking is really, really important too, because I showed you part of this. But if you look at the skills, each skill, let's see, I have 10 points, so yeah, I can do this. Render flesh. So, say I wanted this. This, by default, says Sacrifice power to repair damaged flesh, healing you or an ally in front of you for X amount of health, but applying a defile to myself, reducing my healing received by 8%. So I can get that, but then after increasing the, like after using that skill enough, as you see it's at render flesh 4. So I can now click it again to morph that ability. And every ability in the game has access to this, but you can morph that ability, which are basically like Diablo runes. So this will either consume a corpse to heal a second target, or grant resistances to the target equal to the half the amount healed. So that's actually kind of cool. So finding out what your specific preference on morphs are going to be, or what your specific build needs to use. Yeah, man, it's you know, it was kind of clunky when it launched back at, well, launch. So, and like I said before, that morph system, that applies to not only your class specific ones. So Gravelord, Bone Tyrant, and Living Death are my Necromancer skill trees. Like, these are only accessible to Necromancers. Everything else that I have out here is literally accessible by every single character in the game, so long as they level up that skill tree. So you've got your, yeah, I've got 2 skills that I have spec'd out from that. I'm using all 6 of those because those are basically the tank skills. And then a few on here just for putting in and out. But then I've got my 2-handed stuff from when I'm wearing that. 1-handed and shield stuff, all that is spec'd out. Dual wield, I don't need it really. Bow, use that for a little bit. And then destruction staff just for when I'm on my back bar. Because you've got your front bar, and then you can swap over to another weapon type. And then that other weapon has different skills attached to it. Where it gets a little hairy is keeping up with all the buffs and being able to swap back and forth between the 2 bars quickly while DPSing. DPSing in this game is... I really, really, really respect people who can do it well. It's hard. I think healing and tanking, so long as you know your mechanics, are so much easier. Got Soulshine. Oh, okay, that's exactly what I had before. Oh, cool. There's a dolmen up. A game? Yeah. Yeah, the DPSing is actually pretty rough. Well, let me rephrase. DPSing is easy, quote unquote. DPSing well, like hitting your high parses and whatnot, involves a lot of canceling and various other things. So your main boss in this game, or rather the main antagonist in the story part, is Molag Bal. And so this is actually a chain coming through from his realm, so from Oblivion into Nirn, trying to basically reach out and pull sections of Nirn into Oblivion. So I'm gonna start this. These are the world events that you can just come in and do at any time. Dandruff. Yeah, exactly that mace. I'm still cracking up at Dadriff Lord. Get some stamina back. But yeah, hate to sound like a broken record, but this game is $8 right now. Yeah, leveling is definitely not as bad as it is in some other games, but it can definitely take a while. I had a buddy that grinded pretty hard and was able to get his first tune to 50 in like 2 weeks. However, it's... And this is one of the strange things about the game. So you've got your level, and then you've got your champion points. It's kind of like, did you play Diablo with the Paragon points? Yeah, third person is wonderful.
Most Atronachs are weak. Some are strong. Zymel Hariz, I summon you. Daedra, the anchors, you destroy them today.
This is a cool visual. Basically like Oblivion is raining down on it, and then the portal just explodes. And these are things that respawn. Sensuous necklace. When you roll dodge. So to give you an idea of the difference in like DPS, I am an endgame tank roll dodging. So you actually block and then just hit. Kind of. You actually have iframes through most of the dodge. So if you watch my stamina bar in the bottom right hand corner, it takes a sizable chunk of your stamina bar, because stamina takes a while to come back. But, like I said before, heavy attacking, so I'm going to spam this to get it down. And then heavy attack. Yeah, so I believe you actually have iframes throughout almost the entirety of your roll. It just takes up a massive amount of stamina. Oop, oop, that's not what I meant to do, crap. So let me... I don't know if you actually have the availability to watch the character creator. I don't know if that's... Then over there on the left side, you can see my map completion for this area is garbage. Last thing I'll show you before I'll probably take this to end and put my daughter back to bed. I'll at least start a world boss just to show you the awfulness of the damage that I do with a tank class. I've got a ways to go. I still can't see it on the map, jeez. Or on the radar. There it is. Looks like somebody killed it recently. Oh, there's also a great, albeit, I won't say expensive as far as from a monetary standpoint, but from an in-game standpoint, the motif, or rather the, just your character appearance. If you're wanting to use stuff that isn't the gear that you have on, man, it can get expensive. Alright, so this thing has total of 1.8 million, so I'm assuming that he's going to summon something.
Arise, my beauty.
Yep.
Taste the air once. Your father commands you. Kill! Charge!
Yeah, I'll live forever with my sustain on most bosses, but yeah, my damage is booty. Yeah, I mean, that is not something you'll ever be expected to do, or at least not for that long. It's just something I like to do, going around and soloing world bosses that are supposed to be group content, because it takes me like 10-15 minutes to get through each. Any other questions before I probably stop the stream for the night and try to get my daughter to sleep? I will say, inventory hurts. But yeah, if you're planning on picking it up, I would, if you are planning on playing it long term, I would definitely plan on subscribing to the $15 a month, just so that you have access to all the DLC and the extra pack, as well as just that little bit of an experience bonus. But so you have inventory, and then you have your craft bag. These are the crafts that are all not taking up any space in my inventory. About this. So it's literally either pick it up or just don't pick up crafting materials, because there's literal thousands of them. Oh yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Have a wonderful night, guys.